CQ, calling CQ. Come in, please.
Hi all, hopefully a quick video explaining, following on from last night's video of the midweek net on the 11th, it's the 12th today. Let's turn this music down, I don't want to be flagged by YouTube. Thought I'd give a bit of an explanation as to why I took the aerial down. I think I've confused a few people because I didn't exactly go into any details, but basically I've got a Thunderpole 5, quite happy with it. It's about £1 less on the background noise. As you can see on my Yacer at the moment, nobody's talking, it's just over a 5. However, having said that, yesterday everybody was reporting on the midweek net that the background hiss noise, very noisy frequency. So it goes to show, if you're going to do comparisons between antennas, you need them there and then, two up at the same height, a distance apart from each other, on similar length coax, same quality coax, and a switcher box, so you can immediately go click click between the two, preferably when somebody's talking. But anyway, when I ordered the Thunderpole 5, I never took into account the extra coax I would need, because it was going up about 13 feet higher. And basically I had two 13-foot poles, so what I did, I just, instead of getting another pole, I bought a pair of Shelley clamps. Cost me about £15 I think. They did galvanised Shelley clamps, so I could join the two poles together. So then I had two 13-foot poles. I overlapped them by about 4.5 feet, joined them together, and then put the antenna on top, my new Thunderpole 5, which I was perfectly happy with, and stuck the aerial up on the side of the house on T&K brackets, higher than it's ever been before. But sadly I didn't take into account the extra coax I would need, so I had a very good length of low loss, high quality, expensive coax joined to some standard stuff. I had about, I don't know, about 10 feet of standard coax with an RF choke connected to the antenna. The swar was perfect, and as I say, if you watched the video in one of my previous videos when I actually installed the aerial, but in these gales and very strong winds and storm this and storm that we've had, when I've been in the house at night when it's quiet, you can hear a clunking sound, and it didn't look too smart. 1.5 inch poles, aluminium poles, probably are not the strongest things on the earth. So of course, since putting those up, Adrian, Delta Alpha 2121, who only lives about 3/4 of a mile away, asked me if I wanted a pole. 2-inch diameter, quite thick gauge aluminium pole. So I took him up on that offer. He gave it me for free, and he even delivered it. He's a fantastic man, very helpful to lots of people, not just to me. He's a you know, a good candidate for the for his hobby. So he dropped the pole off. So yesterday I was feeling a bit bored. I'm still not back at work yet. I'm hoping to be very soon. I thought, well, I've got a minute, it is raining, but I'm bored senseless. So I wasn't sure. It was a bit of a task on my own taking these poles down. I had a couple of touch and go moments where everything could have gone wrong and I could have come off the ladders. Fortunately, that didn't happen. And I just grabbed the pole, stuck my old a99 on it with my new Shelley clamps, just for the convenience of speed. And so there's no joints in the coax, no pieces of coax joined together, just one thick low loss coax, the thick quality expensive stuff, and it's probably 3 feet higher than it ever was before, because the pole is 16 foot long. So you will, after I've finished gassing here and talking, you will see videos of the various things. So oh, and unusually I'm using my tripod. I set it up yesterday to do the midweek net, but never actually used it. So this picture should hopefully be lovely and stable, and you won't feel seasick. So so what follows is the aerial now in situation. It won't be there forever and a day, because as soon as we get some nice weather, which has been promised, no doubts I'll start tinkering about. I have got some spare T&K brackets on the house doing nothing at the moment, so I'm going to get a thunderpole 5, order some new coax so it's one length, you know, no joins. I'm not happy about putting joints in coax, especially outside where the weather hits it, despite however much tape you put round and everything. I still don't like the idea of doing that. So the thunderpole 5 will go back up on the house, and it will be above the kitchen door at the back, about 18 feet away from my existing aerial, which is on the corner of the house. And I have to say, people slag off these a99s. Oh, you know, I've had some right comments. Well, let me just tell you, where I live, and I've said this before and I've no doubts I'll say it again, I'm very boring on this. The other side of the wall, behind my radio, literally, about, I don't know, 100 foot away is a junior school. And I always blame the school. I don't really know if it's that what causes my interference. As you can see by the signal meter on my radio at the moment, it's on £6, but people tell me that the noise levels are high at the moment. That'll probably at its best ever be no lower than 4, which I've always blamed the school for. I may be wrong, it may be one of my neighbours, it could be anything, I don't know what it is. But all I know is, with the aerial up that high as it was, I was still had the invisible man scenario, where Adrian, who only lives 2.5 fields, if I look out the front windows to the right of my house, he lives in the countryside about 2.5 fields away, 3/4 of a mile in a straight line. I can be on a channel with him, which I was last week. There was 3 guys on there, quite a distance away, a good 25-30 miles away in different directions. He was talking happily to them because he don't suffer with this background noise. And there's me, couldn't hear them. I knew when they were talking, the needle would go up and you'd hear a bit of a voice, but you couldn't make out what they were saying. And he doesn't encounter them problems, you know, because of where he lives. He's not in a built-up area, housing estates. He's out in the country, so I'm glad for that. You know, so despite, I don't know how I'm still going in the hobby really, because I've been on channels that many times with Adrian where he's talking to people and he'll say, "I'll give them a shout." I'll give them a shout. They do hear me, but I don't hear them. That's normally the scenario. So I thought there's no point sitting there in home at night time when it's, we've had a lot of these blooming storms lately. So I thought there's no point me sitting there listening to this gun clang, 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 having a joint in my coax, because I'm back to exactly the same scenario as I was when I had the a99 up in the past. People can hear me, but I can't hear them. So for the sake of my aerial going wang and bending or coming down, I might as well just put a single pole up, a single piece of coax, my old 11-year-old a99 that's been very faithful, been through lots of winds over the years, still in one piece, looks a bit dingy but still in one piece and still working. Then I'll get one complete run of coax, stick above the middle of the house where the T&K brackets are already on the wall with a 13-foot pole, and then I'll have 2 aerials, and it's handy for monitoring things. You know, you can be on 2 channels at the same time. You know, listening, not speaking. Obviously one aerial would wipe the other one out, being so close. But so that's the full scenario. So I hope I've explained myself well enough for you. And as I say, after I've finished gassing here, I go out into the garden before it got dark, and I videoed the poles, and because one of my viewers sent me a message. I think I'd confused a few people because I didn't go into any details. I was more focused on recording snippet bits of the midweek net. So there you go. For a change, the camera's been nice and steady. It won't be in a moment because, as I say, I'm going to attach this video I'm doing now to the other one, so I'm probably going to repeat myself a little bit, so I apologise for that. But just to put you in the picture, anybody who I may have confused, I hope you understand it all now. Thank you very much. On to the next video. Right, I have 2 poles on the floor there, 13 foot long, that were joined together with clamps. They're overlapping each other by about 4.5 feet using Shelley clamps. So it's 13 is 26. Mine was about 4, so it's about 22 foot. Which is there. I had those 2 poles joined together with these Shelley clamps. I had an overhang of about, if you see the other clamp there, look, I had an overhang of about, I don't know, maybe 4.5 feet. Something like that. But it looked a bit rickety when it was up. and it wanged and clanked and made some funny noises. So I was given a pole by Adrian, which worked out to be 16 foot 2-inch pole. There it is with the aerial on it. So I feel safer now when we get these severe storms and very strong winds that it'll stay up. It's 2-inch, quite thick gauge pole. So the reason I put the a99 on it is because I wasn't sure. The poles that I had up before here, look what I've just took down, the two what were joined together, they're only 1.5 inches in diameter. That pole I've just put up there, what's now there with the a99 on there, that's a 2-inch pole, quite thick gauge material. So I didn't know if this bracket on the bottom of the thunderpole 5, if the little U-bolts there would be 2 inches. I didn't bother measuring them, it was raining at the time. I didn't know if that would just slip on the pole, so I've had problems with scaffold poles in the past with these silver rod type brackets, which of course they're very similar to. So that, just for convenience and speed, because it was raining, that's why I put the old a99 back up. But I've got some T&K brackets on the house over there, look. So one of these poles I will get put there and then stick the thunderpole 5 on. Won't quite be as high as that one, probably be about 4 feet lower, but then I'll have 2 antennas, which is sometimes handy for monitoring stuff. A silver rod what I bought locally, made in the UK, I can't remember the name of the company. It was only up 4 months and it bent, so that came down. My T2LT still there. I will put that up and have a experimentation with that, all being well, in the summer. So I hope that explains yesterday's video that I put up to everybody, made it a bit clearer what I've done and why I've done it.